community is in mourning.
Pimicikamak Cree Nation Chief David Manias is calling for immediate action after 3 people died in a house fire early Saturday morning. 2 teenagers and a toddler were found dead in the house fire, while a 36-year-old man and woman, a 20-year-old woman, and a 4-year-old girl were able to escape, but all sustained injuries.
We had a lot of deaths to begin with. This is our 20th death in this year. So the tragedy really is huge for our community.
This past year, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau promised $2 billion over 4 years for Indigenous housing, but Chief Manias says that money is nowhere to be seen.
I'd like to see a real commitment by the government to actually address homelessness and unreserved, and also to ensure that every house has clean running water.
Chief Manias says poor housing and overcrowding in homes on First Nations is a big problem, but not a new one. He says there are 10,000 people living in the community and only 1,200 homes. Dr. Tom Kovesi was the lead researcher on a study highlighting poor living conditions in northern communities. It included homes where 98 First Nations children aged 3 years or younger lived. It found 85% of homes lacked proper ventilation, 44% showed water penetration in exterior walls, more than half had damaged windows, and 6% of the houses had immediate danger.
Many of these houses have windows that are either boarded up because they're broken, or jammed shut, or they don't open. And again, it's heartbreaking.
Dr. Kovesi's study also showed that the average house had a volume of about 250 cubic meters and an average occupancy of 6.6 people per house.
These fires are devastating. They're heartbreaking.
Deputy Grand Chief Anna Betty Achipanescum from Anishinaabe Aski Nation says systemic racism plays a big role in all of this.
Why is it that our First Nation communities do not have the capacity, the infrastructure, the equipment to be able to prevent and respond to fires?
Chief Manias is calling on Manitobans to advocate for his community.
We'd like to see some letter writing to the MLAs and some writing to the MPs and to the Prime Minister and the Premier, to try and work with the Indigenous people.
In Winnipeg, Alex Karpa, City News.